So, how about this weather? Just coming here through flood weather.
Yeah, flood weather. Sucks, doesn't it?
I forgot to pack my kayak.
Attention wrestling fans, you're in the blast zone for the only podcast where we blow kayfabe wide open and let you know what it really takes to become a professional wrestler. Presented by America's Academy of Professional Wrestling, this is the Buckle Bomb, and you're about to get blown up.
Welcome back, wrestling fans, to the Buckle Bomb, presented by America's Academy of Professional Wrestling. I am your host, Buck Bomber, and joined with me today in the blast shelter is Zeke Rose.
What up, baby?
And ducking and covering with us is the one and only Christopher Black.
You got it.
All right. How's wrestling, guys?
Yo, wrestling is as good as always. What do you mean? How is wrestling? It will forever be great.
Right? I killed somebody last Saturday.
Really?
Not really, but I clotheslined the hell out of him.
Like kayfabe?
Yeah.
Did he get back up?
He stayed down for a while.
Ooh, that's a good one then, yeah.
Nice. Where'd you work at?
Next Level Wrestling in Uvalde.
Nice. That's a drive.
Yeah, but it's worth it. Those fans are fun to be around. And speaking of which, the crazy fan that we were talking about not too long ago.
Oh, in the Buckle Bomb Lost episode.
In the Lost, yeah, in the B-sides. Yeah, he was there and he was going crazy. He was drunk. It was fun. Lots of fun.
I love the drunk fans. They make for the best moments, honestly.
Right. They get so into it. They start cheering. They start cursing you out.
Yeah. They
They'll
actually just get involved.
They'll want to tackle you and you're just like, okay.
You know, wrestling, sometimes it's like a party, you know. At first, everybody's standing there being like, oh, I don't know what to do. But then you give people a couple of drinks and people listen up, and the party really starts.
Right. Or just like, that 8th grade dance when nobody's dancing.
You was drinking in the 8th grade at the 8th grade dance?
Hey,
what?
You know what? Somebody spiked the punch, okay? Somebody.
What school did you go to? What they doing over here? Where you from again?
I'm from everywhere.
Oh, what does that mean? All right, where were you from in 8th grade? How about that?
So in 8th grade, I was living in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh, yeah, that's not everywhere. That's nowhere, sir. I'm sorry. You got that wrong.
Hey, it's a beautiful city, okay? And it have great attractions, including the Hot Air Balloon Festival.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Tell me more about that. No, I'm just kidding. I don't really want to hear.
I have a story.
All right. Tell your story.
So it was after school. I was like in 4th grade or something like that. And when you're a kid, like you want to go to McDonald's and everything. So I go in the car and I ask my mom, "Hey, Mom, could you take me and my sisters to McDonald's? We want Happy Meals." And she's just like, "No. You know what? I'll bring you to McDonald's when I see a pig fly." And next thing you know, in the sky was a flying hot air balloon of a pig, a giant pig in the sky flying. And then we got McDonald's.
And now it makes sense.
End of story.
Okay.
Wow.
Well,
all right.
Funny thing is that after that story, I'm just wondering how many Happy Meals did you eat? Because you a big boy. How big were you in 4th grade?
They had the Mighty Kids meal back then. So it was like
I remember that. Yeah.
It was like a step up so I had a Happy Meal and a Mighty Kids meal. So you just put them together.
There you go. Okay.
Well, he was a growing boy.
Oh, yeah.
He had a lot of growing to do.
Yo, so that reminds me, I don't know if y'all
now.
have ever seen it, but there is a YouTube video called How to Batman, and he explains one day how to make a Big Mac, and he just goes, "I think you take a quarter pounder and I make double, and you mash them together, then it makes a Big Mac."
That's a really good Batman impression.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I worked
good.
on that really hard.
Nice. So, moving on to this week's topic. Do you guys know Bobo Brazil?
I want to say yes, but I'm kind of forgetting who he is exactly.
I was hoping one of you guys knew who he was. So, Bobo Brazil, he's kind of credited as being one of the first black professional wrestlers.
Got it.
Yeah, there's a reason I picked you guys.
All right.
Topic.
Topic.
Ding, ding,
Oh.
ding, ding,
You
ding.
mean tokens?
Oh,
Okay, whoa. No. Uno reverse here. Uno reverse here. AAPW is black as hell.
That's true.
it really is.
You look at our card, you look at our classes.
Hey, you even look at the new class, man. We got a.
Oh, was it? I didn't peep that over there.
We got some color in there, man.
All right. Hey, that's good. Keep it diverse. I
Yeah,
love it.
no, I'm the token here.
Man, nah, you're still not the token, though. Don't start claiming that yet.
Well, then we just have like a bunch of tokens? Like is this like Chuck E. Cheese?
Hey, apparently.
We about to play some arcade games?
We playing some games out here, dog.
We have fun
Tokens
here.
left. But all right, tell us more about Bobo. I know I've heard the name. It didn't register at first. You know, it is that like that's just one of those things that's not, I guess, as celebrated as other, first for the black community.
Right.
Like when I think of historic African American wrestlers, I think about people like Ron Simmons, The Rocks. But Bobo Brazil, he's not. What
about Mark Henry?
I love Mark Henry.
Mark Henry, Butch Reed, Junkyard Dog, Soul Man, Rocky Johnson.
Bad News Brown, my favorite.
Y'all really forgetting about Papa Shango.
I'm not really forgetting about Papa Shango because that's what basically inspired my first gimmick, right?
That's
For the
fair.
Zeke.
I forgot. You used to do that.
Yeah.
That wasn't even that long ago.
Nah, that's like
Yeah.
I got that wrestling memory.
A couple moons ago.
So also, I don't know, I guess, how this always works. I thought there were like questions and stuff. Maybe you would like learn about us to get ready. But I'm just going to let everybody know listening right now, I am not the conventional wrestler. So I don't know all the history. I don't necessarily pop for the same things that other people do. I'm also a big attitude era mark. That was really me getting into wrestling and stuff after that. Stuff before, I'm still...
No, yeah. Every time I bring up something old, I spend like the day beforehand Googling. Yeah, no,
nice.
don't think
Okay.
I didn't know who Bobo Brazil was until like earlier this week when I came up with the idea. I mean, midway through last week. It's Monday now.
Fair, yeah.
Because I was thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? The black community really hasn't shown up in pro wrestling until like recently. You know what I'm saying? I'll explain what I'm saying.
All right.
A couple of years ago when Kofi Kingston, I forget what title he won, but like everybody was going nuts about
Kofi
it.
Mania?
Mania.
Yeah.
Kofi
he won
Mania.
the WWE Championship.
You know, I forget which
Man.
belt's which.
See.
But see, you guys are going ham about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a big moment for us, man.
That was
Like
huge.
I remember where I was at. I was homeless at the time, but I was staying in an extended stay for the night, and I was watching WrestleMania, and I was just like, dude, this is the biggest moment ever, right? Because one of our very own is winning a title at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So that was a huge moment.
That was a huge first for us. Like, okay, so my story with the New Day is great. I remember when WrestleMania came to Levi Stadium down in Santa Clara, California, which is where I was at the time. Of course, I went. We were literally, as far as I could tell, one or like me and my group of three people were three of the four people cheering for the New Day during that WrestleMania. Just because we were so hyped that we had like a African American black tag team sitting there, headlining, doing big things. And also, one of my friends knows Big E, so I was kind of like, I got to cheer for him,
Right.
Sure. Then, but fast forward all the way to Kofi Mania at WrestleMania, him winning the belt. I just remember all the signs when he like did so great in the gauntlet match leading up to it, and like there's just that moment, like that tension. You can tell when something big is about to happen, right? Like sometimes in wrestling you can always say, oh yeah, I know, like I can predict what the outcome is going to be, but there was a different feeling in the air when you knew that Kofi's about to actually win the belt at WrestleMania and become like the first recognized African American WWE champion.
And not only that, but it was not only celebrated throughout the black community, which was, like I said, a huge moment for us, but everybody was on board.
Yeah.
Like when Kofi Mania started gaining traction, like that was all me and my friends was talking about at the time. And this was when I started getting back into wrestling, watching, WWE and everything, because I stopped watching it for a while. Then when I started seeing the traction happen, and I was just like, dude,
It
this
pulled people
might-
in again. Like, It's weird, right? Because back in the day, during the Attitude Era, I felt like everybody watched wrestling, right? Like all of our friends talked about it and everything. But then, of course, as time goes on, a lot of people fell off. But yeah, the Kofi Mania thing, that was one of the things that pulled back in people who hadn't watched wrestling since 2000.
Exactly. And I mean, it's not like, I love The Rock. The Rock is awesome, but I mean, he is, half black, half Samoan, right? Mm-hmm. But to have like, an African American win that was just like a dream come true. And I mean, I'm a big Attitude Era guy myself, Monday Night Wars and everything. Yep. We had Booker T back then, Ahmed Johnson, Farouk, D'Lo Brown. Like, I mean, they were good wrestlers, but they weren't like main event. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Ahmed Johnson. Booker T, towards the end of WCW.
Like there was just always that feeling that no matter how good they were, they still got shafted some way or another.
Exactly.
Like we can all point to it. Like Booker T, he came in, he was hot. He was the WCW champion and the United States champion.
I wanted to be Booker T,
right?
Man. I did the spinneroonie, I did the
everybody
axe
did,
kicks,
right?
all that stuff. The handshake, everything, man.
But then he still got shafted. Like he got stuck in like more of a comedy bit, and he started getting his ass beat every time. It was kind of like, can't get behind him the same way that you really wanted to. Then
I love these episodes where I can just say one thing and then the guests just run with it for that long.
Well,
I really do.
That's a credit to you, man, because this is a subject that's near and dear to my heart, and I'm pretty sure it's close to Chris too. Just because, like I said, we grew up, going through this and not having, a championship representation, in our community outside of, tag team with Harlem Heat. No, dude, that's great. And seeing where wrestling is right now and how we as a community evolved within the business, it's awesome. And I feel like we got into the business at the perfect time.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I didn't really realize the significance of it until everybody else was like, yeah. I was just like, I'm glad we're done with Daniel Bryan's ugly-ass wood belt.
Thank you.
Hey.
I love Daniel Bryan, man.
Daniel Bryan is great. But I love that run. Still.
It was time. It was time for a fresh champion, and Kofi was the exact face to do it.
And just the driftwood and hemp belt, I'm just like...
It was different, come on.
It was ugly.
Exactly, but that's what made it great. He was heel all the time.
It was different. It
that's
wasn't
what he
good.
Does. It made you talk. You're still talking about it now. You remember it. It stands out.
So.
I consider that a success.
Damn, I've been thoroughly worked. Thoroughly worked.
Just yeah.
But yeah, being a I wouldn't even say I'm white. I would say I'm pale, ghostly. I don't think about things like that. I go, oh, it's current year, and everything is great. I mean, no, it's not.
Yeah, it's definitely.
But
not,
everything's equally terrible for everybody now. Yeah, but then I see like when Black Panther came out. Mm-hmm. Do you ever remember how things went when Black Panther came out?
That was just as big for me, honestly. I'm a big Marvel guy too, so.
Right? Everybody was like, yeah, and I'm just like, man, there's like a million Marvel movies.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, just to have that representation. Plus, I mean, dude, Black Panther to me is like one of the most important cornerstones of Marvel. That's just my opinion.
Hot take. But
having seen that on an actual screen and actually seeing, how, the Wakandans were highly, regarded, with their technology and everything like that. Like, it was just a beautiful thing to watch on the TV, on the movie screen.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to the next one too, man. Like, dude,
Definitely.
I saw that trailer and I had a little tear in my eye.
That's true. I know. We all get that one little tear that you don't let anybody see, but it was definitely there.
Yeah,
it was definitely there.
It was misty, you know what I'm saying? I was sweating.
Okay, hold on. So I have to ask you though, right? Because I love Black Panther, the movie. I love the whole thing around Wakanda. I honestly did not care about Black Panther, the character himself, personally. Just gonna be real. So I wanted to ask you because I know that's my hot take. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that? Or like, was Black Panther himself important, or was it just the full thing? And then also part two, what about Blade?
Dude, Blade is coming. I know Blade is on the way.
No. I mean, Blade already had a movie before Black Panther, right? Like the old Blade.
Okay,
movie?
so if you want my opinion, now that we're on this subject,
let's go.
Yeah, man, I hate that I'm going to say this, but
Gotta keep it real. That's why.
Yep.
That's why I brought it up because I have a hot take too. You know.
I love T'Challa, but I felt like the representation of T'Challa in the movie wasn't exactly what I had envisioned when we talk about, portraying him on a movie screen. But I felt like, just seeing the culture and the setting and everything like that, I think that meant more to me. But I feel like as far as monumental goes, I feel like Blade was definitely over that, just because, dude, that was the first one, man. That kind of opened the door, not only for Black Marvel characters, but Marvel in general, like Marvel Studios.
Okay, so you were excited for Blade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, heck yeah. Dude,
yeah.
Blade is like one of my favorite movies.
All right. That's interesting. I'm the opposite. To me, I feel like there's something different, right? Like, once again, I didn't care about Blade either, honestly. The same way I didn't care about Black Panther, the character. But something about Black Panther, the movie overall, like you said, seeing all the cultural stuff, that having a different plot line, one that I thought was pretty cool. Like, the person I really cared about was Killmonger.
Killmonger did that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Killmonger did
he
that.
made the movie for me. But then everybody else, all the supporting cast with Lupita in there and Denai and even Letitia Wright, even though we don't really like her as much anymore. But, it's cool. It's cool. All that put together is what made it, like, just an amazing thing. And it was like, I remember a lot of people were just like, he's not really the first, Black superhero, but he still was, even though Blade happened first. And there's just something different about it that you can't grasp.
I think another thing, too, is how they portrayed women in the movie. Because they were strong. They put those women over. You know what I mean? Like, just seeing, powerful Black women, being able to, hold their own, protect their king, that sort of thing. That was powerful to me.
So speaking of women, to me it also seems like, and moving back to wrestling, by the way.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
It seems like up in like 4 or 5 years ago, like women finally like showed up.
Oh yeah,
to pro wrestling, like with how long ago was the first Women's Royal Rumble?
4 years?
Yeah, like 4 or 5 years ago.
Something like that.
Like, it just seems like it's like stepped up now. It's elevated. It's serious. Like no dumbass butterfly belts.
Man, I really feel for the women though that came before that. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
I'm talking about like Jazz. I'm talking about Jackie. I'm talking about Ivory. Women that can actually wrestle. You know what I'm saying?
I've heard like so many stories of all the nonsense that Jazz had to go through. I think it was God, I forget whose podcast it was. Mark Henry has a podcast, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was listening to it at 3 a.m. in a car after like a long day.
I've been there.
He was talking just about all this nonsense that Jazz had to go through, that, she didn't like getting all made up and stuff like that, but they were like, you gotta, and just stuff like that. I'm like, I'm sure everybody else had to go through that too.
Right.
And it's just like, they had, God, when was, remember the time they had that like fake naked match?
Yeah. I remember all kinds of stupid matches. Like, I think I saw one where they were like wrestling in mud in the ring.
Pudding.
Yeah. Bra and panty matches.
Now, once again, I have no problem having the contrasting opinion. Being the teenage boy that I was at the time, I'm not gonna lie, I love that stuff during those moments.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna put it out there. It's okay to like lowbrow things, but it's like at the time it was like, oh, that's all women's wrestling is for. It's stuff like that. And nobody took it seriously. I
don't think nobody really took it serious until like what was it, 2010 maybe 2011.
My take is more like 2018.
2018.
I think it just varies for different people, right? Because as much as I enjoy the stupid stuff that they were doing, like I still respected women's wrestling. Like when you listed the people, like Ivory was a great women's champion.
Oh, dude.
And like at that point, the belt to me was legit. Like before it was the butterfly belt, as you know said. Like when you had people like Ivory, China, China was beating dudes. Like let's be real. Like don't act like she didn't put respect on the women's division.
Yo,
like definitely.
I wish my girlfriend would be like China for me. That'd be great.
I mean, it looked like she probably could be.
She did slap the hell out of Ryo.
She did. She kind of helped you win that match. So
I was gonna say, is she ever gonna start training, or is she just like not into it?
I mean, for the most part, not into it, but she has entertained the thought of valeting for me because she's more focused on doing bodybuilding right now. Which is, she's getting ready for her first competition at the beginning of 2023.
Nice.
But, I mean, once that is out of the way, then we'll probably start talking about, training and getting that, getting that in there. Because, I mean, dude, she has a good nose for it. She watches all the matches with me and everything. So I feel like she'd be great, as far as that goes. But, yeah.
Yeah, but, there's always that... You always pay something just to start,
Yeah.
All that bumping, getting those calluses in.
Ooh, yeah.
There's kind of no coming back from that. Like, you're never gonna be as like
spry as you used to be.
You're never gonna be as comfortable as you used to be.
Not gonna lie, dude. Every time I move my neck now, I just feel it.
Oh, dude, like I constantly am just like stretching my neck all the time, like.
Oh, speaking of necks, only because I did listen to the episode with Insane, and he talked about me and Leroy's 3D that went wrong. I'm sorry, Insane. I just wanted to put that out there publicly. Stuff happens. I'm glad you're okay, though, and hope your neck isn't too messed up.
And he's often doing bigger and better things.
Yeah.
I can't believe somebody actually listened to the
I mean, I do. I listen to it on my car rides from shows every weekend.
It's actually starting to get like the YouTube uploads get like at least 100 views now, and I'm just like, who the hell's listening to my stupid podcast?
I mean, I know it's not really like heavily advertised, but I mean, I try to put it out there as much as I can.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Also, I mean, yes, this is your podcast. You do a great job, but this is wrestling. This is AAPW. This is everybody else that you put on it. Like, there's a lot that goes into it. And hey, 100 views.
That's
you
true.
Should be expecting even a lot more. It's coming. It's coming.
And I mean, Buck Bomber, you could be doing anything else in the world right now, but you're here with us.
That's
and
true.
We appreciate you.
I didn't know we were gonna go deep into that. I was just making a little joke. But yeah, so I thought about this topic because a few weeks ago, or like I guess a month ago now, when we had you on with Lady Bird, we mentioned how Leroy Brown, who we just brought up a second ago, how he coming back from a show that he and I worked separate cars. He at one of the checkpoints, coming back from Laredo, he kind of got hit with a DWB.
What? Driving while being.
I mean, we all know.
Blacker than black.
Right. That's not what I thought you were going to say. Actually, okay. I don't know about this story. Tell me.
Oh, so we were coming back from Laredo. I was driving with Michael Arrow, and we get through. There's a checkpoint between Laredo and the rest of America, at least through 35. And we get through. I always freak out, no matter what's happening. I always just go, oh. And we get through, and then we're driving along past where they pull off all the other cars, and then we see Leroy Brown, and I'm just like, what? He didn't. What was going on here? And we were just like, no, we know why he got pulled aside.
Yeah. So. Is there more to the story, though? Because
I texted him forever, being like, "Hey, dude, are you okay? Are you okay?" No, but we had to keep moving. There are cars behind us. It was like,
oh, you didn't hear from him afterwards? What happened?
Oh, I did.
Oh, okay. We're gonna wait till he gets on the podcast to share that.
I mean, he says they just pulled him over. They just pulled him aside, and I don't know.
Oh, I wanted to hear more about the detail. Okay, so as a black person getting pulled over by the cops. You remember the details. You know what's happening when, he came up to the side of the window. I was sweating. I reached for the window real slow. I put my hands on it. There are details that come with these stories generally that I'm looking for right now.
Yeah.
I was mostly just concerned of that he got away. That's a weird way to put it. Oh no. Oh, that's my internalized. He fled the police. Oh no. No, I was just mostly concerned that he wasn't getting like detained. That's all I kept texting him. I was just like, "You good? You good? You good?" Eventually, like at like 2 a.m., I got yeah.
All right.
And I told him after that, I was like, you know what? Next time, ride with me.
Or next time, hit him with the hi hiddly do there.
No.
Hey diddly ho there.
Hey hiddly do there.
That's a callback right there.
Oh gosh.
I told him I put on my whitest white voice whenever I talk to checkpoint people. I go, hey diddly ho there, just me, a good old fashioned American.
I mean, that's just everybody thing, or well, it's definitely a thing within the black community. Let's be real. Code switching is what I've always called it.
Code switching.
Yeah, that's what I at least learned that it was called too. But
Like a code talker.
you always have to be ready to switch for the right moments. Doesn't matter whether it's checkpoint, whether it's the police, whether it's a job interview.
Or your job every day.
Yeah.
I do it every day. I'll answer the phone and be like, hello, this is how are you doing today?
You trying to sell people stuff?
Censor that. Okay, hold on. Let me run that back. Hi, this is Zeke Rose.
There you go.
How are you doing today?
Okay, now it just sounds like sex out loud, but all right.
Ooh, Zeke Rose here.
On the ones and twos.
Oh, now he's a radio DJ.
Hey, he can do all the jobs.
Yeah, no,
See, when you code switch, doors open up for you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Sky's the limit now, man.
Exactly. Got the key to the city.
So, jokes aside, have you ever had any? I know you've had some trouble.
Oh yeah,
Zeke, with fans even.
Wait, fans.
Yeah,
refresh my memory.
Which trouble are we talking about?
in the
B-sides.
Yeah, in the lost episode, you mentioned that I forget what show it was now. You had a fan yell some stuff at you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this was my first show outside of AAPW, and I was still doing the Brother Zeke gimmick. But I wasn't wearing the face paint. I was just doing the sunglass or the contacts and the makeup over the eyes. And I walk out, and I'm doing my thing, and some dude started calling me the N-word.
You're joking.
Not kidding. He was calling me Viscera because he's like, oh, look at that. He looks like Viscera. And you know what I'm saying? And just going ham. And it was just making me mad. But
yeah, it should make you mad.
Yeah, absolutely.
I definitely used that anger in the match, and it made me look strong. But it's just unacceptable, man, when you start hearing stuff like that, and then you begin to realize how I want to think that the world has progressed as far as racial equality and everything like that. But I mean, there's just still some bad apples out there, man.
Well, the crazy thing is the world has progressed. We've just gotten to this point, even though it still is, rough and has a lot of problems. But we made it here at least because it used to be a whole lot worse. Mm-hmm. Hearing that, man, that makes me so angry. Just straight up.
Yeah.
I am the kind of person. I think a lot of people will say that I'm a super nice person, and I'll be honest. Part of that is the code switching, right?
Yeah,
and just making yourself a nice person. But I guarantee you, let a fan ever do that while I'm around. I don't care if they do it to me, to you, to anybody else. I'm getting fired from that show. I'm just going to be real. Sorry, Ray. Sorry, anybody else out there who may hire me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get fired from that show if that happens, and they're going to go home in an ambulance probably. Just straight up.
As they should.
Yeah, that's
they should.
Screwed up.
Hey, I'll help you.
I get. Real. I get it. It's part of the show to, yell stuff at the heel, no, but it's there's a point where it's like, hey man, that's you shouldn't be saying that to anybody.
I mean, right.
Nope.
I wouldn't go up to a woman and call her a B word, you know what I mean? That's just straight up disrespectful. There has to be some type of line, that should be drawn. And I mean, we're not saying that we should just put this out there, but I'm just talking about being aware of where you are, who you're talking to, that sort of thing. But obviously this guy was not in his right mind because he was drunk off his ass, and that kind of generates that false courage, right? to the point to where you run across a guy like a Christopher Black or even me on a bad day, it's not going to end well for you.
People got to learn is the thing, and people got to be willing to teach them for them to learn. It's just the way it works, unfortunately. Yeah, you know, I've had people like heckle me and stuff. Never anything that bad. I remember when I first started wrestling, so this was back in like 2015, right? And was working a show, and there was some guy who was just going off, and I was like, what do? I need to find a way, because like he kind of was like annoying me at least, right? Then I remember I watched some indie show with Kevin Steen at the time, and there was some fan who was doing that. You know what? It was so simple. He sat on the ropes and said, "Get in the ring then." And you know what the dumbass did? And they beat his ass. After that day, I was like, oh, that's just real simple. And now, anytime somebody's talking trash, and if I feel like the need, what do? I sit on the ropes and I'm like, get in the ring. I dare you. Do it. And you know what? Most people shut the fuck up. It's just what happens. I love that.
The worst thing I've ever done is I looked somebody dead in the eyes and I said, "You're why workers hate marks." And that guy shut down. But that's the closest thing I've ever done.
Hey, whatever stops them, it's
Right.
good. Like I feel like that's, especially when you're healed, that means you're doing your job.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But definitely, there's some things you don't yell. Chris, do you remember that one time? For the listeners, I work with Chris quite often. We've worked together for a really long time. Do you remember that match with T-Ray when the crowd started yelling about me, and they started yelling some choice words?
I don't remember exactly what you're talking about. Like, I remember this time period. Now, also remember I've hit my head a couple too many times.
Right.
I'm getting old. Maybe I just forgot. But enlighten me.
There was a certain time where the crowd started chanting "Greenback is an F slur." Whoa. You don't remember that?
No, what?
Oh.
So, okay, another thing. Normally when I'm wrestling straight up, I don't hear the crowd. And it's like a really bad thing because you need to be able to hear the crowd, right, to adjust. But like a lot of times I miss whatever's going on because I'm so focused on the match. But no, had I heard that, I would have stopped and said something, because that's another one that is not cool.
Yeah, that was a very uncomfortable night, because also the match that night was kind of dragging on. You know, you guys had a good ending planned, but the middle kind of.
Was that okay? Also, when I was fighting T-Ray, that was my brief period as being a good guy and face, right? So he was beating my ass. I'm guessing.
You were getting something in there.
I mean, I got something in, but if he was the heel at the moment, he was the one on top, right?
Right.
It's a little harder when you're the face to do something when the crowd's being shitty.
Right. And then Pops comes up to me and he's like, "Give him to go home. Give him to go home." And I'm like, "Hey guys, we gotta finish this. We gotta end this." I've had a big slur chant slung at me, and I'm kind of ready to go.
Yeah, that's a good reason too.
Yeah. So, what's the future for Black wrestling, though?
That's a good question. I mean, the future is only what Black wrestlers make it is the thing. So,
I want to say that the future of Black wrestling is Christopher Black and Zeke Rose. I mean, I'm not saying that as like we're the future of Black wrestling, but we're the ones to carry the torch. You know what I mean? Like, we're the ones to take it to the next level and inspire the next generation. You know, like for me, I want people to be, I want people to see Black wrestlers in a different light. I grew up listening to 80s metal, 80s rock, that sort of thing. It's something that you don't normally see Black people into, you know? So kind of just like opening up that demographic or opening up that perception.
You were in a band for a while, right?
I was for like 10 years.
And what kind of music was that?
It was punk rock and pop punk.
There you go.
nice.
Yeah.
You got to bring that up, too.
Oh my goodness, man. Oh, I mean, it's kind of, I kind of put that behind me, but honestly, it was fun times, and just being in that scene, I was pretty much the only Black guy at almost every show. So being different never really faced me, you know?
Nice.
So whenever I get around other Black people and they want to, you know, this is a very touchy topic. But,
Go for it.
When people in the Black community see you into things that aren't, you know, considered
Oh yeah.
but you're weird ass. Like, no.
Exactly. I mean, even when I go home and, you know, I am called, you know, oh, you're a white boy, you know, like that sort of thing. But cut that out. Oh, Zeke, you're a white boy. Okay, whatever. But the thing is that what I want to portray is that we don't have to be, you know, all up into, you know, hip hop culture. I'm all about it. I grew up, you know, doing that. I grew up in church. I, you know, am very familiar with, you know, the gospel music and everything like that. But I do have my taste too. So that's why I say the future of black wrestling is Zeke Rose, and whatever Christopher Black brings to the table, you know, that's what we want to do, is push it forward, basically.
So I got to tell this story because it's always one of the funny ones from my childhood, right? So funny thing is, first of all, I grew up opposite of you. I grew up in PG County, Maryland. What's up? The most affluent, black county that there is in the entire country. So there's like ton of black people everywhere. That's when there is a non-black person there, they become the token whatever. Right. So as such, I definitely was, you know, surrounded by black people who were like, you know, you don't do that other stuff. My brother being one of them. Funniest story I remember, I was a little kid in elementary school, right? And for Christmas one year, I got like this radio that could go in the bathtub for some reason, whatever, right? And on it, I would like try to find a radio station. And somehow I came upon like a rock station. So I'm sitting there listening to rock. Like, yeah, I like that. My brother got so pissed. He like just breaks the radio and is like, no, you ain't listening to that no more.
Jesus, like, because that's something I didn't know about until I guess about 5 years ago when I went to a friend's panel about acting white, I guess you would say, and I was like, I never knew that was a problem. You guys get shit on for listening to rock music?
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
I mean, honestly, I grew up not in, you know, the hood, you know, like maybe towards the latter part of my life, but growing up, my dad was in the Air Force, so I was just around all kind of walks of life, you know. So if a kid comes up to me in middle school or elementary school and say, hey, listen to this Nirvana CD, or I just got the new No Doubt, have you ever heard it before? And I'm just like, no, let me listen to it. Oh, this is awesome. And then you take it back home and people literally look at it and break your CD and say, don't listen to that crap.
Yeah, that's right.
That's like the side that a lot of people don't talk about, right?
Yeah, because to me that sounds like some movie, you know? That sounds like a movie scene, you know, like, no!
Nah, that's real life.
Yeah, God.
See, the funny thing is, like, stuff like that, it doesn't even seem that dramatic to me. I'm just like, what are you talking about? That's normal, right? No? Oh,
right. I mean, seriously, I'm the same way, you know? I feel like it's something that I just have to accept and just keep moving forward with, but unapologetically, I am going to portray, you know, being the Venice Beast. I'm going to come out. I'm going to be the only black guy coming out to like Guns N' Roses or Metallica or whatever. But I feel like people like that about me, you know? I feel like that sets me apart from everybody else. So that's just my mission, is to just open this thing wide open for guys like me, you know, who are coming from the opposite spectrum, you know? And it's okay to, you know, not, you know, be gangsta or, you know, talk a certain way.
Nice.
Know? Definitely. Yeah. And for wrestling, I really love the idea of do what you like and do what works, right? I think you need both of those is one thing I do want to say from my wrestling wisdom, however much of it I have. Right, there are a lot of people who do also take that kind of thing, whereas I'm going to do whatever I want, but then they ignore like what works, and then it just becomes weird, and it's not really getting over. You know, it's kind of whack. Like even me, earlier on in my career, like I tried some other things. Like I'm huge into anime and stuff like that, so like I wanted to do all of that, but you know what? It didn't work. So I don't think there's any shame in sometimes being like, all right, I'm gonna do something different,
right, so
that I can find something that I like and that works. Hence, Christopher Black.
Who's a mean mother? Shut your mouth.
Bad news, buddy.
Nice. The preacher of pain.
I love that slogan.
I really do love that nickname.
Are you still carrying that? Because I feel like that got dropped.
You should bring that back.
I am perfectly down with bringing it back. I just so first of all, George De La Isa is the one who gave it to me. Thank you, George. Love it. And I just never really felt like I did a whole lot with it. Like he always said that I sounded like a preacher when I'm talking, which I was like, I don't know, do I? If you say so.
I mean, when you start talking and you get angry,
Oh, okay.
you're just like a reverend on a Sunday morning asking for the offering.
No.
Come on.
That is, it's so funny because actually in real life, that is exactly what I don't want to be. So for everyone also to know, I am a diehard Christian, but I am not a fire and brimstone Christian whatsoever. And anybody who does that, I'm like, you are doing it wrong. We're supposed to be spreading love and kindness, and you over here just telling people they're going to hell.
Yo.
That's a problem.
Right. See, I always thought you were the preacher of pain because you're always wearing them pants with the crosses on the side.
Well, that's why I put the crosses on the side, was because of the name.
I thought the name came second.
Yeah, and then randomly one day I was here and I remember, oh man, why am I forgetting his name? I'm gonna get so much flack for this. Don, you know who I'm talking about?
Meatball.
No. Don from AAPW. Don, why am I forgetting his name?
Don Rodrigo?
Don Rodrigo.
Oh,
Yes.
I was thinking Donnie Giovanni.
No. One day, if he's listening, he's gonna probably remember this and laugh. Don't take it. I didn't take any offense to it, so don't act like I'm bad mouthing you or anything. But Don Rodrigo comes in, he sees my pants, and he's just like, "That's really weird. You need to lose those pants." No, and I was like, "Why?" He was like, "Crosses are weird. Don't wear those, and just walk away." And then from that period, I was like, "Huh? Well, now I don't know if these work. Do they?"
I think they do. I like them.
Yeah.
And I think you should bring back the Preacher of Pain because we need more people with cool nicknames like that.
Yeah, that's true.
I always thought you were the preacher of pain by choice because I know you are you're pretty big on Christianity. Mm-hmm. You're definitely part of the Bible fandom.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing, though, right? Like, I am a bad guy when it comes to wrestling world. I don't want Christianity to be a bad guy thing, personally.
Understandable.
That's true. I mean, we already get flack, for that sort of thing anyway.
Yeah.
And
enough people have done that bit.
Because the first time I heard that that you don't show up many times on Wednesdays because you're at church, I'm just like, oh, okay, preacher of pain makes sense now.
True, yeah.
Because I'm like most religious people I know are like Sunday, that's it.
Oh man, my dad's a preacher, and
Really?
yeah, he's pastored like 3 churches, but I used to go to church like every day.
Yeah.
Like I would go to school, I would do my little homework or whatever, and then it was going to Bible study or going to prayer Tuesdays or choir rehearsal.
That's
I
a
was
rough
there
life,
every
honestly.
day, man.
So was he okay with the zombie
The voodoo,
black magic gimmick?
Well, I
Evil
mean,
guy.
I'm a grown man though. Like I basically told him, he understands wrestling. Dude, he called me today and was talking to me about, certain angles or whatever that could happen in the future. Like he saw Kelsey with the last one, and he was just like, I want to go to the next show. Maybe you can put me in there too.
Right. That's what everybody wants. They want their moment.
What a mark.
But no, like he's totally understanding about, the difference between real life and kayfabe or whatever. I mean, me, myself, I do consider myself a Christian. I don't go to church, every Sunday, but I don't feel like I need to just because I feel like, I've already accepted Christ in my heart. He knows my heart. And like I said, I honestly, some of the other churches that I've been to has had some bad experiences. Not going to get into it, but yeah, I totally feel like my dad is totally accepting about anything that I do just because he knows that I'm not like that in real life.
Cool.
That's good. That's good. I can't say my dad would be the same. So my dad is no longer here. But me and my dad had an interesting relationship when it came to wrestling. The day that Stone Cold Steve Austin decided to be like, oh, does John 3:16 say this? Well, Austin 3:16 said. My dad hated him.
Oh my goodness.
It was over at that moment.
Wrestling out of this house.
Yup.
I remember that moment. I was actually watching that at church.
Oh no!
Dude, I was watching it at church, and like we had like a little like waiting room area with the TV, and we just like my friend he recorded the King of the Ring or whatever, so I was watching it on VHS, and that came up. And I love Stone Cold Steve Austin. And even though that happened, I still loved him. But I had to like be a secret fan because my dad was not about it.
Right. Nah, it's so true. It was a real contentious thing after that with me and wrestling. My dad was kind of like, I don't want you watching, but I was like, Dad, I love it. Come on, you got to work something out.
My parents didn't even let me get to that point of even watching it when I was a kid. There was just like, no wrestling in this house. No. I remember. I don't know how often I bring up this story. When I was in middle school, an earlier iteration of AAPW showed up to my school to do a presentation. Like George was there, the Crusaders, Psycho Simpson, and they were like, "Hey kids, don't do drugs." And like, I think that affected me because I'm always like, I don't do drugs, guys. I don't want to do any drugs.
Nice, straight edge. Yeah,
I don't want to let the Crusaders down. But also, I was like, they talked about, oh, yeah, we're from this wrestling school. And I'm like, wrestling school? I also, in my dumb kid brain, I was like, I could go to wrestling school instead of regular school?
Wouldn't that be great?
If only, yeah.
And then I went home and I was like, Dad, I want to go to wrestling school. And he went,
oh,
and he's like, do you want that?
No.
So,
That's all you're going to get.
Oh my
yeah, you're going to get chopped over and over. Can you handle that?
I'm like, oh, okay.
Hey, you already got me ready.
All right. Yeah, he was just prepping you. That was all. He was, making sure you were good when you got out there training.
Yeah, but joke's on you, Dad. I'm a pro wrestler now. I'm an indie nobody, and I run a podcast. Take that.
Nice.
So I think that's about it. I think it's time for my favorite part of the Buckle Bomb, ABP. Always be plugging. Zeke, what you got?
Follow me on Facebook, Zeke Rose. Zeke Rose, Zeke_Rose_loading on Instagram. And then Two Rose Trading Posts, which is Kelsey's online store where you can find my shirt. And I just came out with some cool hoodies too.
You got some pretty good gear.
Thank you.
I do like it. I do. I see. Like now that I'm seeing the blue one, I'm like,
the blue one is coming soon. This is the only people that have this shirt right now is me and Jakarta. But I'll be releasing this like within the next 2 weeks.
Nice. Any upcoming shows?
AAPW.
That's in the past now.
Well, it's coming up this week, right? This Saturday.
Yeah, but we released the next one.
Oh, my bad. My bad. Cut that out.
No, we leave it in. It's
the next AAPW after that.
It's an ongoing joke now.
I mean, I don't really have anything really lined up. I mean, I do have like a secret opportunity that will be revealed in a couple weeks.
Nice, dude. Happy for you. I don't even know what it is, but happy for you, man.
Thank you. Next Level Wrestling. I'll be back October, November, and December. I just finished having a four-way match back there, and it was lots of fun, and I was very strong. So, just follow me on socials just to find the next dates, and I appreciate your support.
All right, cool. Chris, what you got?
All right, if you want to see Black Wrestling, then you got to follow me at C Black Wrestling. That is C, the letter C. Obviously, I'm Christopher Black Wrestling. So, yeah, check me out there. You can always find me, or at least most of the time, here at AAPW for whatever the next future show is as you're listening to this podcast. I am really an exclusive talent for the most part. You'll see me every now and then out there, but if you want to see Christopher Black, and trust me, you do want to see me, you got to come right here to Austin at AAPW.
Hey, he's the meanest. He is the toughest.
And I'm the 6th time.
And he's the blackest. Whoa.
I was gonna say, like you gotta add that on.
No. See, that's that. So the funny thing, right? We didn't even get into all that. My name is not Christopher Black because I'm black, by the way. I am not the blackest.
We've worked together for 4 years, and this is the first time I've heard of this.
Everybody just assumes, but I am actually quite light skinned. Most people say. Yeah. So I am definitely.
I've always thought that. I've never brought it up though, because every time I'm in a promo going the biggest, the blackest, and I'm like,
Yeah, Zeke is actually the blackest.
Yeah, Zeke definitely got me beat there. I ain't even gonna lie.
Right.
I ain't even gonna lie.
I got melanin to pass around to everyone.
That's cool. You know, I'll keep my diversity, my 25% Norwegian that I found out through 23andme.com.
Really?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Viking gimmick win.
Right? That's next.
Yes, dude, I love it.
Oh, man.
Oh man. So that's the end of the Buckle Bomb, and I guess we can call this episode Black Dynamite because